Hello and welcome Everyday Statistics to your lesson 3.2. We're going to talk about sampling methods that are good and bad. How can we sample better from a population? Today we're going to talk about really just a lot of vocabulary. What is a convenience sample? What is a voluntary response sample? And how can we introduce bias or eliminate bias by random sampling? So a convenience sample is one way of sampling that is not good because we're just choosing individuals from a population who are easy to reach. Uh, so for instance, if I just stood out in front of a door let's say I just stood out in front of Chick-fil-A and I asked a question, I gave them a survey to fill out before they got out of line, that would be a convenience sample. I wouldn't necessarily be getting a representative population. I would probably be getting the easiest way to get things, though, to get the data, I should say. So let's talk about bias. Bias is when you have formed your question or you've asked it in some sort of way, a survey. If you're collecting your data in such a way that you're going to get responses that lean to one thing or another, right? It's going to lean in one direction when it shouldn't. So let's look at an example. Um, So if you had to do it over again, would you have children? And this is Ann Landers in her response. So she received 10,000 responses. Almost 70% said no. And we're wondering, could it be true that 70% of parents regret having children? No. What's happening is she asked this in some sort of an article. And of course, the people that are going to respond are going to be the people that feel really strongly about that particular subject. So you're going to wind up having this have a bias towards the people that were like, you know what, you're right. I wouldn't have children if I went back and had to do it all over again. Um, so we want to try to, first of all, not have a voluntary response sample like this is. And second of all, no matter what that is, let's make sure that we're not posing the question in a way that has people choose more of one decision than another. The best way to do this is to randomly sample. Okay? So random sampling, all you do is some chance process to determine, to choose people uh, that will be included in the sample. If you use some chance process, you're more likely to get a more representative sample. A sample that I should say better represents the population that we're interested in finding out information about. All right, so let's do a problem. Like I said, this was going to be a really quick one. Uh, you're welcome. Let's look at this example. So Parade Magazine was asking, should drivers be banned from using all cell phones? So they encouraged readers to vote via their website. And they reported the votes that 2,407 people said yes, while 410 people said no. And what type of sample did the parade survey obtain? Well, they asked people to go ahead and submit their responses. And so this is another example of a voluntary response sample. So why is it biased? Clearly it's biased, right? And why? It's because people who feel more strongly are more likely to respond. not even sure if this is correct. More strongly? I think it's right. It's a good thing I don't teach English. Uh, People who feel more strongly, I'm pretty sure that's not right, are more likely to respond. Maybe it is. Sounds weird. Sounds like more happier or something like that. Are more likely to respond. So, how could they avoid that bias? Well, if they randomly selected people to send the question to, it would be much better. So, randomly select people from a population or sample, randomly select, or we could even say, right, sample to answer the question. Fantastic. Like I said and promised, this one was going to be very, very quick. So I hope that you're having a great day. Thanks for watching. These are the things that we got done. Hey, take care of yourselves, all right?